There are a lot of racing games, ranging from realistic to cartoonish, from open roads to racing for glory. It's one of the most prolific gaming genres of all time. There are hundreds of these suckers, too many for one man to play. I'm not crazy enough to do that. Instead, I want to make a silly take. Driving in video games is nothing like driving in real life. Now, why the f would I say something like that? I mean, it's an obvious statement. You shouldn't compare video games to anything in real life. Well, I am what the people call mentally ill. I've been playing video games since I was 3 and still am over 20 years later. Now, I'm not that big into racing games. I'm more into platformers, RPGs, fighters, FPSs. However, with the amount of racing games I've played, being able to take influences and apply them to real life is fascinating. When I was 15, I was excited to learn how to drive. I got tired of having someone to drive if I wanted to go somewhere. Now I can go anywhere at my own leisure. It's not like I'm gonna be stupid and get into an accident, right? Nevertheless, I couldn't wait to ace this course and get my license. And I did, but it came with a lot of nuances. The requirements can vary by state. It might be different for everyone, so this is from my experience. You need to be at least 15 and a half years old and provide the required information, take a visual screening, and pass a knowledge exam. It comes in 2 parts, one being general knowledge and the other being a science test. When you pass them, you'll be rewarded with a learner's permit. You need to hold on to it for at least 9 months, complete a driver's education program, and have certified that you drove at least 45 hours, with 15 of those being at night. Once you do all of that, then you'll get your driver's license. However, if you're 18 and older, you could just complete the course and hold the permit for at least 2 months. Here's how I did on my driving test.
I passed on everything except for the parking. You know what I did?
On parking? Okay.
Yes. So what I did was, like, when we got to like this parking lot and when I went to park, you know how, like, you know, there's like those double like parking spaces? I basically just went over that.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were just like, yeah, cute, but you got to do the actual way. You have to go in the first one. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, apparently legally that is considered bypassing a government traffic control device.
That's what it's called?
Literally, like it's not just painted lines on asphalt.
What the hell, man?
Nah, you bypass.
I mean, I know you can't like pass them by when you're like driving and stuff, but I didn't know like you can't actually do that. But everyone does it all the time.
That's what I'm saying. It's such a like common thing. We all take that for granted.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I also didn't pass the general knowledge portion, so I had to retake it to get the score I needed. It is different when you're taking a driving course versus actually driving with your license. You should follow the rules for passing the test. Don't slack off and you'll be good. When it comes to operating a vehicle in video games, you have your car and you just drive. Hold the accelerator button and steer accordingly. In real life, there are a lot of rules and regulations to follow. My friend and I want to share real life stories and talk about how video games operate driving in their own way, and also have a little bit of fun.
Guess what I have?
What do you? Oh, that's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's always in the cup holder right over here.
That's the little buddy. Man, if this was a video game, you wouldn't have to stop.
Exactly. I could just go through, but no. Actually, I did get a ticket for running a red light.
See,
and no, it was on a right turn too.
On a right turn?
On a right turn.
Because you didn't stop for the red light?
Yeah, I didn't stop all the way.
I've gotten that too. No, I'm just thinking about it. Like, even if you're doing city driving and there are things that cops can pull you, like if in GTA, if you run a red and a cop sees it, they could still chase you, right?
Yeah.
But it never applies to speeding. Even if there were like limitations on your driving in a video game, it's never speeding. I have yet to see a single game where you speed and get pulled over for it or something.
Yeah, or like, yeah, face like consequences. Because I feel like if you do like, maybe like do it like a racing game, but like in order to get to the next course, you have to actually drive normally or like just follow the rules. Because if you don't, like you get a fine and like it costs you money, which you can use to like for upgrades and stuff. But now you have to pay for like these fines if you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like that would be like interesting. Like imagine a game like that where, you know, you are a racer, but you still have to abide the rules of the road.
Yeah,
in order to get to the next location.
Need for Speed Rivals kinda did that concept. You play as a racer and an officer, and you rank them up individually for clearing missions and being rewarded with a new car. As a racer, you drive to your mission while also getting away from cops to earn currency for upgrades and change looks. These bitches will do everything they can to take you down, so make sure you escape them and clear missions to rank up. As an officer, you take down racers and intercept their drive whatever means necessary. It was a cool concept that was ahead of its time to get both perspectives between one who is breaking the law and one who is the law.
I could have turned right, but you can't be too sure.
Can't be too sure.
And especially with like all these cars passing by, it's like...
It's not like you can reset the car's durability with a simple paint job.
Or just like go into a garage to get everything fixed up.
Exactly.
Because I have a scratch in the front of my car. I haven't gotten that fixed because like, who knows how much that's gonna be. Don't look at the Jeep.
That's the indicator.
Yeah, use your turn signals, everybody. Okay. We need to know. We need to know where you're going.
Please, even if you don't think it's helpful or you're like, there's no one behind me, it's always helpful.
And if you change lanes without it, you're a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Swear to God.
Do not ever.
I'm actually gonna try and back up into the spot
All right.
because now I got a backup camera, which is
Yeah,
very
imagine
convenient.
having to care about like the placement and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine parking your car in a parking lot in a video game? Have you ever needed to do that?
Yeah, no, you never need to. What? Unless it like gives you like bonus points or whatever.
Which means the game is literally all about driving.
Yeah.
If it's just part of the game, no one's making you park in a parking lot.
No, it's just why would you?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Having the freedom to drive wherever you want is so nice. You can go run errands, grab something to eat, go on a trip, and much more. Recently, I went to South Carolina for a friend's wedding, and it took me 7.5 hours to get there one way, totaling 15 hours round trip. I could have flown, but I wanted to save money and didn't want to get my tux all wrinkly. Not gonna lie, I looked pretty damn good in it. It doesn't compare to video games where you have total freedom and have no consequences, but it doesn't hit the same as driving to a place in real life. However, don't have too much fun or else you won't be able to drive home. It's always smart to have a designated driver, unless that driver doesn't know you were there to begin with.
So in our area, there's this thing called First Friday. Basically, the first Friday of every month, they shut down the streets at this old town place. And basically, you can go bar hopping to cross the street and just bar hop, grabbing drinks and all that stuff.
It's one of the only times you can have like open alcohol on the street because
Yeah.
it's like blocked off as a no driving area.
So one First Friday in particular, this was back in like November of 2023. I remember I was coming back home and I was gonna go back out to visit my partner at the time. So I got out of the Old Town parking garage. I lived like 15 minutes from where it was, so it wasn't really that long of a drive. So I leave Old Town, I get to my house just for a 5-minute break of like going to the bathroom, grab some water. And then as soon as I get out of the car, I look into the corner of my eye, and in the bed of the truck, some dude passed out in the bed of my truck.
Yeah, there was a dude just like posted up sleeping.
Yeah.
Passed out.
Like, oh my God. Like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, because what the hell?
Yeah, he was passed out drunk.
That's crazy.
Holy moly. Yeah, he was so drunk, he like didn't wake up. And so I was like, I'm gonna go back out. I'm gonna drive him back to Old Town.
Yeah.
And so like I drove him back. I kept like an eye on the bed to see if he was like waking up or something. He did not wake up whatsoever.
Damn.
He felt like he was like riding on a cloud or something.
Yeah, I guess.
And then eventually I get back to Old Town and I did wake him up and he was just like, oh, what the f***? Like he was so out of it and all that. And like he eventually got out and he actually tried to get into the back seat. I was like, no, buddy, I'm not driving you home or anywhere.
What?
And,
Damn.
and I gave him like a bottle of water. I turned him around and I just let him go on his merry way. Never saw him again.
That's crazy. I've never been that inebriated.
In the point of like being that like plastered to fall asleep in some stranger's bed of your truck.
Yeah. I don't think I ever want to get to that level, but I'm glad he's safe.
So long story short, always be aware of your surroundings, even if you're not driving.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I don't know how long it's been standard for us to drive with like an 8 and 4 hand position.
Yeah.
I never see that in games. It's
It's
never
always
an 8-4.
10-2.
It's always 10-2.
Yeah, 10-2. Like,
I don't know if that's just a matter of the developers having learned that, whether it's just that looks cooler, which, sure, yeah.
yeah, it's sort of sense of style. But like, even though like you can drive 10-2 even after you get your license and all that, like, don't matter. Just remember, like, when you get into an accident, the airbags deploy.
Yeah, you really don't want that to happen
Yeah, you
in
get
your face.
2 black eyes right there.
Oh, yeah.
But I always like driving like 8-4 because it feels more comfortable
Yes, I think
in a
it's-
weird way.
No, it's definitely a lot more sustainable because you have like a little more support for your arms. Like you're not just holding them up and getting them tired.
But as you can see, I like driving with one hand, which you really shouldn't.
I like driving 8 and 4 if I'm not literally just driving one hand on 12, because that's a whole different thing. At least it's only one arm. It won't just like. That's why they say like don't cross your arms when you're like steering. Because
Yeah,
if
'cause
get
you have to,
them
like, go
locked or
like
something-
this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the friggin' push and pull thing.
Something about riding in a car, like when you're in there for hours, it just makes me fall asleep.
It's hypnotic. Yeah.
It really is. And it's definitely much harder when you're actually driving because you have to stay awake. Because
Oh, yeah.
I have had it happen a couple of times where I like felt fatigue and like, you know, closing my eyes and that just feel like there's like those
Yeah.
bumps on the road. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, like the On the edges.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they call them rumble strips.
You know, when you're like driving and, you know, when you like steer and stuff, you have like, there's no room for error because when you drive, you use only the stick. Whereas like, you know, you drive in an actual car, you have to do like a whole lot of turning to like get to like a 90-degree turn.
Right, exactly.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. And the fact that it'll like, there's resistance and it will like try and auto like correct itself. Even if you're driving something with like a motion control, like one of those Wii remotes with the wheel thing.
Yeah, playing Mario Kart Wii.
It's weightless, you know? I mean, yeah, no, the controller itself has weight, but like there is no resistance after you turn.
Yeah, because like with the Wii remote, you just go.
Yeah, and it'll stay there as long as you want. You can like put it down like that. It doesn't handle nearly the same as a real car. So I would say the expectation was skewed.
Yeah, you flip it up to do tricks.
Yeah, literally.
Wish we could do that.
No one is just picking up their wheel to do like a...
I just want to do a backflip in my car.
Bro, the sense of gravity when you're playing a game like GTA and you're driving a car, like, you take almost no damage if it's like a light impact.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even dent the car. It feels weightless. You can literally like adjust the position of the car in midair. And physics simply does not work that way.
Right.
Like you can't really make adjustments to how your car is moving in midair. We literally like we can use a GPS while we drive, put it in the corner of our vision and stuff. But like mini maps where you can auto ping, especially if you can set a destination on the main game map. And then you actually have like a highlighted overlay on the road.
Our previous generation, they didn't have GPSs on their phones.
Oh like, yeah, no, they were printing out paper directions on MapQuest or whatever.
Or like using actual maps to like, you know, learn the layout and like memorize the street names.
Yeah, and the street signs were so much more important. You had to pay attention to every single one. Now it's just kind of, you can always reroute with a GPS. The video games really are our test drive, so to speak.
And I feel like with video games being more realistic, you know, when it comes to racing games, I feel like they're gonna get to that point where they can have these like driving simulations to help people with driving, and they can use that for like tests and stuff, and not having to get an actual vehicle because that costs money to do. Of course, it costs money to operate that, you know, take care of it and all that stuff. Whereas like you can just have the video game, you know, simulator, and it'll cost significantly less than paying for a vehicle and an instructor and all that.
Exactly.
However, to counter my point, having to drive on the actual streets and highways will help you better prepare for the roads ahead. Doing a driving simulator can help, but it's important to have real-life experiences because of the longevity you'll have. I'm not a racing game enthusiast, but I have played a few like Burnout, Mario Kart.
There's also this one game called Split Second where it's kind of like a game show type of racing game where like you're in a race course, but like you go to like these different like levels and race tracks, but you can actually change the course to your liking if you have like enough boost and all that, where like you can like pull a trigger and like you can like have like this giant crate come down so that way you can interrupt the drivers and like they can interrupt you, and so you have to like, you know, have a fast reaction to it. Yeah. And you can also open up shortcuts and stuff like that. Sick. I thought that was like one of the most unique concepts of a racing game.
You said it was called Split Second?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, it's on like the 7th generation of consoles. Like I have it on 360. Like it's one of the most unique racing games I've ever played because of that concept where you can like change the environment of the track to your liking.
Yeah, I mean, you're used to like item boxes with like a banana peel or something, but like a real in-world collision hazard.
Yeah.
That like it stays on and like has physics to it.
Yep.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely checking that one out.
Oh yeah.
When's the last time you took an exit ramp in a video game?
Right. And you gotta like slow down and like get up and about. Probably if it was GTA, you could just cut through the trees and like try to pass that guardrail, which, you know, could damage up your car, but it doesn't do that, supposedly.
Well, if you damage your car, you can just drive into a garage and it'll be good in 10 seconds.
Yeah, tell that to me when I had to pay $1,000 to get a new alternator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Video games give us the freedom from paying for things 24/7.
You know, so gas prices, you know, you have to pay for inspection, renew your license, you know, just got to keep up to date with all that.
When's the last time you filled up gas in your video game? Can you imagine having to stop for gas and gas prices fluctuating.
Like, well, like in Fortnite, you can operate a vehicle and like there's like, you know, the gas gauge goes down, but then you have to go to a gas station, which I missed when like you grab the actual pump to fill it up. Now you just have to like go into the sort
You just drive
area.
on one of those auto pads and it like repairs your vehicle and fills it up at the same time. Which is it convenient? Absolutely. But there was a little bit of charm to like the idea of picking up the pump and like spraying liquid gas wherever you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was kind of whimsical that you could just spray it anywhere on the car and it would fill it up.
Yeah, I do kind of wish that it had like some sort of a mechanic where you can like splash like a puddle and like you can just
set it on fire.
Yeah.
Yes, I've always thought that.
Because like there is always that one mishap where like you shoot the gas pump and then it just explodes.
Yup, or even just one of the gas cans. So if you can do that and you bothered to put like liquid gas that you have to like pump yourself in that stage of the game. Yeah, it should have been usable as like a fire hazard, like an intentional one.
Exactly.
And now we're past that stage of the game and everything's just drive onto the pad and it does itself.
These goddamn gas prices, I swear to God.
Look at the gas prices though, what the hell?
$3.99 for a gallon of gas.
Oh man, the glare is insane. It's literally just a red and green car.
You can't even see it.
You see it for like half a second when a car passes by, but yeah. You know, I'm fairly sure when I was like 8 or 9 years old, it was one of my first time sitting in like the passenger seat of the car when my dad was driving. Yeah. And I genuinely asked him where the nitrous button in the car was. I thought that was just a thing you could take for granted.
It's like, where's the boost?
Yeah. How does it refill? Like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess you could modify your car to have, you know, nitrous, but.
And there are people that do, but I genuinely thought it was just a basic feature in most cars.
Yeah, I never really like thought about that.
I think it was funnier. My dad just straight up didn't get it. He's like, why would you think there's a nitrous?
It can be overwhelming to someone who is driving for the first time. There are so many things to consider, paying attention to signs, speeds, the people around you, etc. It's all about doing it so many times that it becomes second nature. Once you know how to, it can be very exciting. But it can also be very deadly.
So when I was driving back to Virginia Beach to visit my mom, and I wasn't driving this car, I was driving like a 2006 Hyundai like sedan. Unfortunately, while I was driving, I was literally like 20 minutes from my house. I looked down at the dashboard a little too long, and I looked up, and I see there was a car, you know, stopped, and I reacted too late, and I slammed my car under there. You could take your eyes off the road for 1 second, and everything like changes for you. Car got totaled. I had to pay for towing. Luckily, the cop gave me a ticket for following too closely. He told me that it would have been much more serious, that I would have a court date and maybe got my license revoked. So props to that cop right there. I just hope that you take a life lesson from this, that you really need to be careful on these streets because, you know, seeing all these people on the roads, they have their own lives, they have their own values. And when you go into video games, like, it's just you and you only focus on yourself and everyone else is just a bunch of NPCs. But on this busy highway right here, you know, people coming home from work, maybe going out to eat, maybe truck drivers getting their delivery done, wherever the case may be, like they got their own lives and one fatal mistake could end it right there. And if I was gone any faster, if I didn't react quickly enough the way I did, I wouldn't be here right now. And it's a scary, scary thought. When you get your license, when you go out on that road, be cautious of others. If you need to get somewhere fast, don't be a nuisance to others. Just let someone know, because if you're just speeding for save you an extra 20 seconds, do you value that extra 20 seconds over someone's life. Something to think about.
There's a reason why these tests and requirements are put in place. It's because driving could cost you everything. Paying for repairs, paying for tickets, having to deal with accidents. The worst of all is you could die or cost someone else's life. You see so many ads that tell you to buckle your seatbelt, don't text and drive while intoxicated. They don't want you to risk your life for one mistake. Wear your seatbelts, put your phone away, call a cab if you're intoxicated. You don't worry about these things in video games because they want you to have fun playing them. No responsibilities whatsoever. In fact, during my drive, we had ambulances, fire trucks, and police cars past us for an accident that happened.
Oh no, there's something going on.
Sheesh.
Accident.
Yeah, the precautions you take may not always be convenient for yourself, but they can be life-changing for everyone around you.
Exactly. Yeah, if you go like 100 miles per hour on a parkway that has a 55 mile per hour speed limit, like you're not only endangering yourself, you're endangering others. You know, I'm gonna out myself out. I have driven 100 miles an hour on the highway. There were barely any cars on the highway, and I just did that because I wanted to know how it feels to drive that fast. And it can be fun, but it can also be very dangerous, where, you know, in video games, when you go that fast, it's like, oh, this is fun, like, you know, I don't have to really worry about this, and I really can't feel what the speed is like. But once you're in a car and you're actually going at that speed, it's a whole different ball game.
Yup.
Yeah, it could be very devastating.
I want to be clear, most of you watching might have already noticed, this guy is not taking his eyes off the road, and I think that's really freaking important.
Yeah, and especially with these streamers, they like, you know, they have their phones on there and just like, oh, I'm looking at chat and all that. Like,
yeah, no, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. That's a distraction. Like, you shouldn't be on your phone at all. And a lot of people be on their phones while they're driving.
You think you can handle it, and it probably works out 999 times. But that 0.01% is all you need. I drive a lot safer with passengers in my car than I do when I'm alone.
Yeah, me too.
That's just the idea of I'm putting less people at risk. It's only my own life that I'm accountable for here.
I'm being aware of the other people in the car with me. Like, I don't want to put them in danger.
Right, exactly. There's partial truth to that. You can always just take it one step further and be like, it's not just about the people in my car, it's the people around my car. We are all living incredibly intricate, detailed lives. We all have 24 hours a day to spend. Everyone has like a family and friends. I don't sign on to the idea of calling people NPCs in the real world because it's not as simple as a few lines of code. These people have decades of life behind them, experiences I'll never share, and they're just as valuable as I am. Human connection is way too important. Life is too important. You can't just be focused on yourself.
Very much so.
That is what it really feels like to be an adult, I guess.
And you can also connect people with video games. That's how I made, you know, some of my closest friends is through video games.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm very thankful to have those kinds of people in my life. And, you know, I value and treasure their lives. You know, when it comes to real life stuff like this, you also got to be aware of everyone else around you, because, you know, what makes their life be lesser than your own?
Yep, nothing really.
Yeah.
It'd be somewhat entitled and self-centered to think anything else.
If you can't tell, driving at night is a whole different ball game. In video games, you don't have to worry about not having enough light since the game will have it for you. In real life, you must use headlights at night to see where you're actually going.
Yeah, you see, you're driving at nighttime, like there's like barely any lights. So when you turn those off, you can barely see shit.
What do you guys see? Tell me where to turn. How far is it? Where's the turn?
Not only that, but the glare from other headlights, street lamps, and stoplights are so jarring. It's very different compared to driving during the day. That's why they want you to get that experience driving at night. You need to be careful and pay extra attention when it's dark outside.
Yeah, man, honestly, I hope this video reaches a bunch of like the newer drivers who are going into it with some like expectations based off of video games, just to highlight the fact that it is very different. And there's a lot more to account for. You have to be safe.
Yeah.
There's no real thing as an NPC in the real world.
Having to learn the ins and outs of, like, you know, all the signs and how to turn and where to position yourself and be wary of the others around you, using your turn signals, having your headlights. It's just lot of stuff to really get in the back of your brain. And also like, rear view mirrors. Like these mirrors can like really help you with, if you see like, oh, there's someone right next to me. And also that won't be enough. You have to like really look back and see, you have to notice your blind spots, because if you don't look at them, then, you might cause an accident, or that person just honk at you because you didn't see them.
And all of these things are usually, you have like a built-in extra camera that you can immediately switch to. So you wouldn't use a rear view mirror in a video game.
Exactly.
But it's absolutely necessary in the real world. It's just different. It just is.
Because when you're driving forward, like, you always have to be conscious of like looking back. So that way, if you brake hard, it's like, oh, like, will that person react quickly enough so that way they won't rear end me? Ugh. And yeah, sitting down like in a long period of time can like really, it can deteriorate your body. So that
is the one thing I think the gamers will understand, is that you have to get up and stretch.
True, yeah, because you sitting down for like hours on end and then just like getting up, like stretch out your legs and like your whole back and all that.
Yeah, you get stiff.
And you find like, a rest stop if you're going on like a long drive to just get out and just stretch, go to the bathroom, grab a drink, whatnot.
If you feel your eyes closing, like you're starting to get kind of drowsy, tired, like fatigued on the road, it's a much better idea to just pull over and take a quick cat nap or something that you have to.
Or just pull over to like the nearest gas station to like get like an energy drink or something to keep yourself awake. So that way, you have that energy to get to your destination.
Because, I think most of us are pretty prone to, like, taking a cat nap on, like, while we were driving. You just, like, close your eyes for a second, and then there have been entire, like, hour drives where it's like, I have no idea how I got home.
Yeah, it was much more simpler when you were a kid, because you're in the back seat and you could just sleep in a long car ride. You really can't do that while you're driving.
Nope. And it's not as simple as reloading your save if you make a mistake.
Or just respawn to when you die.
No respawning.
We have this one life.
YOLO, gang.
It's like so 2013.
It is. Still applies though. Hey.
Yeah. True enough.
The point of all this is not to say which way is better. There are some applications from video games you can take when you start to learn how to drive in real life. However, they shouldn't prepare you for the roads ahead. You need to follow the signs, you need to keep your energy up, and you need to be aware of your surroundings. You shouldn't speed to get to your destination faster. You should care about other drivers. You should be sober and level-headed when operating a vehicle. That one mistake could cost you your life. Once you get your license, it's fair game. Just please don't be a nuisance. Don't act like you're playing a video game all by yourself. Act like you are a responsible driver while respecting other drivers.
It's like I said at the beginning. Driving in video games is nothing like in real life, because we took it for granted. So get Allstate, so you can be protected from mayhem, like me.
Yo, I love that guy in those ads.